All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let's go ahead and get airborne with TOMCAT charts and zone 5. Folks, I'm beyond fired up for what we're going to do this morning. I've been looking to grow the products and services we do here at Top Gun Options for a couple years. And there is a very important reason why today it grows, and in the past it hasn't. I spent time on Wall Street, folks, 3 years in the Chicago Board of Trade, in the Chicago Board Options Exchange at ground zero of the financial crisis. I was the managing director of strategy for a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm. Worked some billion-dollar deals, quack, quack, quack. Here's what I'm getting at. 99.9% of the people on Wall Street I would never trust with my life. I wouldn't trust them to hold my coat, man, to be honest with you. And it's a very sad thing to say. A lot of these people that I worked with would step over their own mother to make a buck. I'm not kidding, man. These people wear golf cleats as they climb the ladder and they step all over you. That was the exact opposite of my experience for a good portion of my adult life, man. For 15 years in a fighter squadron, if you didn't trust somebody with your life, they weren't in the fucking squadron anymore. They were gone. So in the past couple of years, as I've looked to grow stuff here at TGO, I'm like, ew, I can't stand the Wall Street crowd, period. Well, this morning you're going to meet somebody who's not from the Wall Street crowd, but has a 500-pound Wall Street brain. If you've been at TGO for a couple of years, you know we are the smart money. They ain't on CNBC. They ain't all these people, Larry Fink or what's his name, the guy who sat in Davos in February of 2020, the world's largest hedge fund manager. Cash is trash. When he said that, I looked at you guys and said, get long volatility, get out of the market, buy puts on the S&P 500. The smartest hedge fund manager in the world got destroyed. We didn't. So today I'm going to introduce you to, this is going to creep me out to say, a soulmate. This guy I'm going to introduce you to is a soulmate. Yeah, Ray Dalio, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is an F-14 Tomcat Rio, man. And what's a Rio? That's that dude. So you got Maverick and Goose, man. You got Wiz and Bart right now. This guy's an F-14 Tomcat guy, graduate of the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which you guys all know by now as Top Gun. Incredible father. He's married to a beautiful bride, Kathy, and we got Allison, Nicole, Madeline, and then JJ. He's an incredible family guy. And oh, by the way, he's a 500-pound head with all the shit he's going to talk about, man. He's a chartered market technician instructor. He was a CTA back in the day. Barclays Hedge named him one of the top 5 FX traders in the world. Okay. And I trust him with my life. So how do I trust him with my life? Many of you know we are doing a project called No Fallen Heroes. And I'm blown away by what's going on. We'll talk No Fallen Heroes towards the end of this when Bart gets done, because I'm going to give an update next week. But folks, Bart was one of the guys. We went down to Mexico recently and we did the medicine, man. We did the journey, and it's absolutely changed my life. Bart has the same passion I do. First of all, about healing himself, right? Just like in an airliner, man, fucking lose pressurization. You got to put your mask on yourself before you can help anybody else. So Bart and I kind of put the mask on ourselves, and now we're going to help everybody else. In the hour that I'm talking to you today, a veteran will kill herself or himself. That's a fucking disgrace. It's a national disgrace. It's a national tragedy, and we're going to fix it. I want to share with you, because a ton of my strategic partners sent out, because, hey, you got a new service. They marketed to it. So a lot of you haven't seen this. So I'm going to share this with you. This is a first look. I want you to turn up your speakers right now as loud as you can, and I want you to see what Bart and I are doing.
Hey Wiz, it's Bart. I don't see or hear anything, just to let you know.
What's that, bud?
I'm not
All right, guys. Some of you might have had some problems with the video. I apologize for that. Some of you said, "Hey, no sound or anything like that." Let me get back to showing my screen, man. Um, so really, really, really cool. There we are. There's Bart right there next to me. And that's Wiz, that's Bart, that's Doug DeStasso. That's Slider, man. That's another cheesy Tomcat guy. And then, man, we got Sledge, who's an Eagle driver, which I can't even make fun of those. They're barely on our side. So there's our No Fallen Heroes team, man. So when I say that I trust this man that I'm going to introduce you to with my life, I do, because I've seen his, well, only God can see your soul. I have got a pretty good look at Bart's soul. And he's just an incredible human being, father, husband, and freaking 500-pound head. Yeah, I'll give you a link. Make sure you stay to the end of the webinar. I'm going to give you a link where you can register for next Wednesday. I'm going to give a little update with the No Fallen Heroes, where we are with it. But just check out this picture of Bart, man. As we were filming down there, look at that hummingbird right there. This is the Pacific Ocean, the sunset. It was just, the Holy Spirit was with us that weekend, man, and we're going to change lives, man. I am so excited. That's enough, man. I talked for 10 minutes longer than I wanted to, but I'm feeling the spirit. Can't stand people on Wall Street. They're not the smart money. We are the smart money. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my best friend, my wingman, my squadron mate, and now my soulmate, James Bart Bartoloni. Hold on. Let me change presenter here, man, and make you a uh, staff. There you go. Where did Bart go? Uh, with that, let's see where Bart went. once Bart, once he started the video, it crashed my GoToMeeting, logging off and logging back in. That was one. Thank you for all the kind words, folks. Bart's logging in right now, so typical Tomcat guy. Let me do that right now before I forget. So next Wednesday, I'm going to give an update with No Fallen Heroes. We had 20 angels get us airborne. 20 early investors, and I'm gonna give you guys an update, but I'm gonna also potentially offer a new opportunity. So I just put this link out over here in my Max Afterburner lifetime group, and people are already signing up. So next Wednesday at noon, I'm going to give you an update. So the link is in the chat box right there for you to sign up for the debrief next Wednesday. I'll send out a couple more emails about that as well. So let's wait for our TOMCAT guy to show up. Still waiting for Bart to show up. Let me talk about some stuff real quick before he logs back in here. Last night, the market got destroyed yesterday and has been getting destroyed all week. How many of you, well, all my members, look at this bear put spread that we put on 2 weeks ago in Full Throttle. It's up 80%, about $9,500. Did a bear call spread on Amazon 2 days ago that's up $2,500. I did another bear call spread on Amazon Monday that's up $2,100. 2, 4, that's a lot of money. So folks, if you're sitting here and you're looking at this market going, I'm getting destroyed, you're doing it wrong. So look at this. And some of you might not want to hear this because I do get emails from people like, hey, when's the market going to bottom? Never. Why don't you just assume never, and you're going to have a great time trading this market, guys. We haven't even started to go down yet. I'm the guy, me sitting here, that told you 14 months ago that Joe Biden's sophomore year would be a train wreck. We would have a recession and a bear market. I didn't have fascism in Canada and war in Europe on my bingo card, but I'm going to add that. Doug, 91% on the VXX bull put spread from yesterday. I didn't get filled on that one. Look at that. Doug's in here. Look at that. 91% in a day his trade was. Absolutely awesome. So Bart, when he logs in, is going to absolutely crush it with what the way he sees the market, and let me look at what's month to date. Our month to date performance is about 30 grand in this portfolio, trading S&P, volatility, Goog, and some Amazon. So this is great. The Full Throttle folks, the 50 new folks that have joined us are absolutely printing money. Give me 1 second. I'm going to call Bart to make sure he didn't a safe didn't fall on his head. 1 second, guys. Went straight to voicemail, so maybe he did get hit by a falling safe. Yeah, no, I can. I'll help you out with that until Bart logs on. He just bought a new computer too to get all ready for this brief. So there you go. New. Hang on, he's calling. Dude, you're late for the brief, man. Typical TOMCAT guy. What's up?
I hear you. I'm trying to talk. As soon as you played the video, it fucking crashed. I moved all the way over to another computer.
Nah, man. You didn't log in as a. What's your name in here? I'll make you a. What did you log in under?
Bart, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm like.
All right, I got you. Hang on. Let me.
Damn it, dude.
It's all right. Make panelist. Yes. And then, so guys, when Bart gets in here, give him a ration of shit. All right, here we go. You ready, Bart?
Yes.
You're fucking buying the next 500 rounds, by the way. All right, man. I'll see you on the brief. What a jackwad. All right, Bart, you got it, man. I'm going to get out of the way. Are you there? Oh, boy.
Is you there?
Now I got you, man.
Excellent. It's like being in a TOMCAT, right? As soon as you get launched off the pointy end, everything falls apart. So as soon as you hit the video, my computer crashed. No idea why. And oh, by the way, it's a computer I bought this week, so I wouldn't have any computer problems for the webinar. So let's adapt and overcome, right?
You got it, man. Go ahead. You got it.
Yep, just loading it up. Thank you. So everyone on the webinar, thank you for joining. I do apologize for the technical difficulties that we seem to be having this morning. Yeah, as soon as Wiz put the video on, it crashed. So not really sure what happened, but again, we will adapt and overcome. So thank you for joining me. I am so excited to be a part of this. And Wiz, thank you everybody for attending. And Wiz, real quick, you can see my first slide. Is that correct? Wiz? Can everybody see my slide?
Sorry, buddy.
Somebody?
I was on mute here. Yeah, we can. We can see not
Okay.
only your main slide, but also the previous slide. So I think you need to go to presenter mode.
Yeah, that's what I'm in. I'm gonna roll from this perspective. So everybody, thanks once again. I put this quote here. You know, it's not to be a Bible or a spiritual discussion, but as you go down the path that I've gone down, you'll find that these numbers and patterns are everywhere. And what we're going to talk about is that last part of this quote, and that there's nothing new under the sun. And you'll see why I say that, because the market repeats. It repeats its patterns over and over again. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We have the typical disclosures that you know, we have to talk about. And so these are the next two slides. And the bottom line is this is informational purposes only. We're here to try to help you guys manage risk. And that's the bottom line. We're going to talk about three things today. First off, we're going to do a little bit of trader's tips is what I call it. What that entails is, you know, there's all kinds of oscillators, moving averages. There's just so much stuff that you can put on your chart. But ultimately, if you take all those indicators off and just start looking what price and time and the patterns are giving you, it can really help you manage risk. So we're going to go over a couple of those. I've been posting a bunch of stuff inside the Max Afterburner group, which is a blast to be in. These people are amazing. I've already learned so much from them in the past 2 to 3 weeks. But we're going to go over some of the setups that we talked about and see what worked and what didn't. There is no panacea. The patterns are great. I tell Wiz, I know I'm right, or excuse me, they ask, how often am I right? And I say I'm right 100% of the time. You can't be right 100% of the time. I'm like, I know, here it comes. Well, the punchline is I'm right 100% of the time because I know where I'm wrong. And so what I've found is these patterns help me manage risk and give me precise entries and exits, and then allowed me to really take a look at where I'm at. So that's what we're going to do with the setup reviews. And then, you know, we've got some patterns to watch that have pretty big implications for the global market in perspective, and we'll go over those. Okay. So just a little bit about me, Wiz. I appreciate the introduction. I am happily married. There's my bride to my right. I have 4 wonderful kids, 3.5 grandchildren. I have another grandchild on the way. That's Oakley, my little dog in the middle there. But we also have another dog, Hurley. And so, like Wiz, I have 2 dogs. It's pretty fun. I am an avid and passionate surfer. I love it. I'm on the water all the time. And quite frankly, I loved it so much that I also started a nonprofit. And we take vets down to Punta Mita, Mexico. So if there's any vets or active duty on the line, look us up. It's a blast. And the guarantee we give you is no matter where you are as a surfer, you will catch a wave. And so far, we've put about 40, 45 people through these week-long events, and everybody has. So people who've never been on a board are out there catching waves. It's a lot of fun. So life is good. And like I said, like was said earlier, man, I'm just so excited to be part of the No Fallen Heroes project. It's a blessing, and it's a passion and a mission. So, man, Wiz, we are passionate about our veterans. What is this methodology? Well, it's pattern recognition, but it's based on sacred geometry and music. Don't let that, you know, scare you or anything like that. And sacred's not a religious term. Back in the, you know, early days, the Egyptian days, Mayan days, and even into the Renaissance time, sacred geometry was called sacred because what they found is the ratios that we're going to talk about are inherently present in pretty much all of creation. So that's where the sacred comes from. And then, you know, music, it's all over the place. And so we'll talk about a little bit about that. Wiz has given you an introduction, but in a past life, I did have my CTA where I was a spot currency trader. I am a former chartered market technician, CMTI instructor. Most of that focus was Elliott wave theory and intermarket analysis. I call it the circle of life, which we've been passing information around: commodities, fixed income, currencies, and equities. Not only CONUS, United States equities, but global, right? Global macro equities, and because they're all connected, right? So that was what the TMCI Level 3 course was about. It was pretty intense, and so I've been around the block. I also have had a blog up until my affiliation with Max Afterburner and Top Gun Options, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm stopping to blog, and I'm going to stop blogging. And what I'm going to do is present the information over here with our group at Top Gun Options. So a lot of fun. We're going to get into traders tips now. And what we're looking at here is on your left. It's a book. If you want to get it, it's a little book. It's a great book. It's called The Little Book of Coincidence. And all we're looking at is the synodic period, basically the orbits of different planets and the patterns, right? The patterns, the geometrical patterns that they present. I've shown this in my last brief, and I've kind of talked to some of the people in the Max Afterburner groups. To the right is just simply a vibrating plate that has a certain amount of frequencies that get inputted to it. And what happens there is they just randomly throw sand or grain or salt onto the plate and start changing the frequencies. When they hit a harmonic frequency that's in parallel to the equal octave scale of music, these amazing patterns come out. And believe it or not, a lot of the same patterns at different frequencies are exactly the same patterns that appear to the left from the planetary orbits. So go back to our first quote. Just keep going back to our first quote. There's nothing new under the sun. These patterns repeat routinely, and that's where we're at. So let's talk about this first concept. It's called a measured move. Quite frankly, it's one of the most powerful tools in our arsenal, and it's the first thing I do. I especially want to know where these measured moves are on weekly and monthly charts, long-term charts. Go back to our first quote. There's nothing new under the sun. I was talking to Wiz and Goose and Sledge as they were murderboarding me this week. Amazing, right? These patterns happen all the time. And so what we try to do is find a measured move into a target zone, and we'll talk about how you find that. Those become really high probability investment opportunities. You can use both percentage and price movements, and I'll show examples of that. And then we're going to introduce one of 6 patterns that I look at. It's called the Gartley 222. So let's cruise. Wiz, any questions popping up that I need to address, or I'll just keep rolling?
No, let's save it all to the end, man.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And I'm also doing that because I want to check in and make sure that I'm connected.
Yeah, you're connected, man. You have a main screen up and then a smaller one. We're not seeing the full slide. We're still in like presenter mode.
Okay. Well, I have a dual screen. I had to switch over to that computer, so I'd rather just keep going.
Yep, go ahead.
And then we can figure that out later. Yeah, my laptop just crashed, dude. It's brand new, so I apologize for that. But so here's the New Zealand dollar versus the U.S. dollar for people who aren't familiar with the currencies. This is called the Kiwi, and it's versus the buck. What we're doing here is this is a long-term chart, right? It's from 1972, basically Bretton Woods. And I want to draw your attention over to the right side of the screen. And what we have here on the right side of the screen is these blue arrows, right? These blue measured move arrows. And what they are measured moves, right? And as you can see with these blue measured arrows, they are exact. This is the price movement. This is the corrective price movement that occurs in the Kiwi. So if we can find a pattern, or if we can find a target in this area, right? Some of our ratios that we're going to talk about, it's monstrous, right? These measured moves occur all the time, and they're exact. The other thing is you'll find that all these other measured moves over here to the left side of the screen, they are harmonically related, right? They're harmonically related to these blue ones. And what I did here is here's the original blue, and here's a 1.78179, which is the purple. That's a ratio of the equal octave scale of music. And then this is 2.0, which is basically an octave. And you can see that they are harmonically related. So if you go out to these longer term charts and just take the time to take a look at where the measured moves are before you do anything, before you put any of your oscillators or moving averages or whatever you'd like, right? take the time to find out where the measured moves are. It's definitely, most definitely worth your time, okay? This is a recent one that we've been posting in the Max Afterburner trade group, and it's Meta Platforms, it's Facebook. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is, and I will post these slides so everybody can take a look at them and maybe queue up the video with it. But first off, I want to call your attention over here to the right side of the screen, okay? And notice that the price is not equal going on the way up. This means we're in a log. We're in a logarithmic chart. It's a long-term logarithmic chart. Don't be afraid of the name. If Wiz and Goose can understand it, you know, anybody can. But when we're looking at trend changes and we're looking at really powerful support resistance levels, we've got to take a look at long-term logarithmic charts, okay? So I just wanted to call that out. The second thing is, this is the first and biggest corrective move in Facebook since the IPO and the all-time low over here to the left. And so because we're using log scale, this is actually a percentage correction. And what happened as Facebook was getting slaughtered, it came down and basically stopped right at the measured move percentage correction that occurred back here in the past. The key with that is if you were around and you could play it, you had, quite frankly, the kahunas to play it, it ended up being about a $20 or $30 bounce off of that, right? But ultimately, it's broken below this long-term log trend line. That's not a very good sign. So opening up this target area here is not unrealistic. So where does this orange, right? Where does this orange percentage measured move come from? Well, that's over here. That's equal to the first and largest, and that's our foot stomper, corrective move in Facebook. So if you're short Facebook, you could have a nice target down here. And if you're looking to go long Facebook, we definitely want to be here. The other thing I'm trying to show you with this one is, this right here is a 1.618 extension into the area. We have retracements into the area. We have a measured move into the area. That's an area that we want to be around to take a look at maybe an opportunity to get long Facebook. So log chart measured moves percentage, right, using logs is also a very, very powerful technique. So be around when those measured moves are finishing. They're very powerful. There's some good chatter going on within the Max Afterburner group this morning, and it was about copper. And so what I'm trying to show here with copper is a couple things. First off, let's make sure we take a look at the side, you know, what type of chart are we working with? And so this is just a normal chart, right? See how the prices are all the same, right? And so what my eye is drawn to was this blue measured move. It's straight, it's fast, it's unrelenting. And so I copy pasted it, and that exactly equaled the high that we've been in, right? But more importantly, what I wanted to show you was, go back to our first quote, right? Our first quote, there's nothing new under the sun. See this little up down move? Same up down move, right? So what that is, that's a fractal. That fractal repeats over and over and over again. So we want to be there. The other thing is, notice these orange lines down. Well, the blue line is exactly equal to 1.618, the orange line. And so I've got a study that I can post in the Max Afterburner group, where this right here is a beautiful corrective move. It's called an expanded flat. And if you were waiting on that one, copper, it was perfect. And we knew we were going to new highs. So when you take a look at these measured moves, right, first off, you want to find them. But the second thing, and a very good use of your time, is just because a measured move is going up doesn't mean it can't go down. Again, go back to our quote, right? It's the same thing under the sun, always, okay? And then we're going to do a last one here with Amazon and measured moves. And I wanted to show you this one. So again, let's take a look at the right side of the chart, right? Right side of the chart. Price is all, you know, normally spaced, so we're not dealing with a logarithm. And then let's take a look at, okay, where is my largest corrective move? So here's the IPO of Facebook. We're going along. Here it is right here, okay? So what I did is I put it's a 36% corrective move down, okay? and I copy pasted it, and I just moved this blue line down to 36%. The other thing I did was I wanted to show how price and percentage moves are different. So I just copy pasted it and I put it right here. Of note, as Amazon was being sold off, that that price measured move was exactly equal to where the low close and the open was. So it's still, having an effect here. And then Wiz and I were talking about it yesterday with Amazon. These are a lot of wicks where selling pressure came in. I don't know if it's going to get down here to big support. That might be the low, to be quite frank. But man, if we can get down there, I want to be down there. So not only do we have the percentage move with, with regards to the largest corrected percentage move, we also have 1, 2, 3, 4 ratios all coming in this area. Big support. So that should be an introduction. When we get into some training, if you so like to be in the zone 5, Wiz will be doing his options training, and then I'll piggyback into that with this charting. We could talk measured moves for about 5 hours. So I just wanted to show you, to get you out your charts and go out to your long term and just start playing around with measured moves. Very powerful, and quite frankly, I think it's one of the best tools in our toolbox. So that's measured moves. Any questions? Anything popping up? All right, let's roll. So Gartley 222. Some of you probably heard of it. Perhaps some of you haven't. But on the left is H.M. Gartley. And he wrote this book in the 1920s, Profits in the Stock Market. The pattern that we're going to show you, well, it's on page 222. So we'll do some Hornet math, Hornet English, Viper English, Gartley 222. Now, to the right is a wonderful book, and I recommend it. In fact, if you want to go down this path of Fibonacci ratios with pattern recognition, this is probably the only book you ever need to read. Larry Pesavento is a friend of mine. He's a mentor of mine. In fact, I spoke on his radio show on Wednesday, and he's I don't know if he's the first, but he's definitely one of the leaders in going back, into the 1920s and look at some of the stuff that was written, and the patterns were there, but the proportions, the ratios, right? Where are these patterns going to be formed? That, right? That had never been done. And so Larry's the first person to put the ratios together with the patterns. Great book, recommended highly. Here they are, Gartley 222. So what I want to draw your eyes to is in the top area, okay? We're focused on that right now. These are bearish sell patterns. So for everybody on the phone and the Max Afterburner people, when I say that a sell pattern is complete, all I'm saying is let's start here at X. So if we're looking to short something or we're bearish something, we need to go find a swing high, right? So we find a swing high, we label that X. By the way, for those more advanced in charting, this is the nomenclature has nothing to do with Elliott wave theory or corrections or anything like that. It's just a nomenclature. So I want to make sure that people realize there's no Elliott wave here at all. So we find that swing high, and then the market goes down to A, rallies to B, comes down to C, rallies to D. At D, the sell pattern is complete, right? The difference between, the chart on the left and the chart on the right is there's just different ratios, okay? And all that's saying is we want our harmonic ratios to be a part of this, but they're going to be different. They don't have to be exact every time. But what we're looking for is we're looking for that flow of X to A to B, B to C, C to D. We take action here. And when I take action, we could short it. We could wait for a signal reversal candle. And one of the things that I posted in the Max Afterburner group yesterday, we were talking about gold, is I don't know, right? I just didn't know where we're at, but we have a amazing sell pattern, just a little bit higher. So these patterns will fail. Nothing is perfect, right? So gold is about to come up and smack into a D point. From that point, we'll either know if gold's starting its way down or it is in a bull market and off it goes. We just don't know. So that's how we can use the patterns also, right? To inform us of, right now I'm neutral. I'm really just not sure. So I want a pattern to fail because then it'll tell me where I'm at, okay? When we look at bullish Gartley 222s, okay? When we look at the bullish Gartley 222s, it's the same thing as the bearish. It's just inverted. So in this case, we want to find a swing low, right? We label that X. We go up to A, down to B, up to C, down to D, right? We have our ratios that we're looking at. I'll show you an example of this. But ultimately, at D is where we take action. We wait, we buy, or if it fails, we reverse. And so now you can see, I've never done options. I'm a newbie with a lot of you guys and gals. But now, I want to understand how to hedge because I have had patterns fail. And here's the thing, when they fail, it's not pretty. This is the levels that we come up with are the levels where action happens. And there was an amazing sell pattern on the financials a year or so ago. And so financials lead us up, financials lead us down, right? So I'm like, well, if this pattern works, the market's going to be weak. But if it doesn't, you got to get long because it's game on. And so, wow, it failed, gapped over the pattern, and it was gone. So we knew where we were when I went long the market, right? So when I say take action, Wiz teaches us about a strategic mindset. For me, it's patterns, right? And so where are we in the pattern? Has the pattern worked? Has the pattern failed? Then I can make a decision of whether I want to be long or short the market. So this is the Gartley 222. X, A, B, C, D, bunch of numbers come together at D, take action. Let's give you an example and maybe something that you can take action on here in the future. This is a really interesting one too. The reason it's interesting is right now, I'm going to show you mRNA. mRNA has a buy pattern, but Pfizer just completed a massive sell pattern. So it's like, okay, this is interesting. But here's mRNA, and this, folks, throw your fundamentals in there. I think they're very important. I just don't understand them. So that's why I have Goose and Wiz to help me out. But this is a beautiful buy pattern. So let's go through the Gartley 222. First off, let's take a look at the scale, right? Normal scaling here. We're not on a log. But if you want to find the exact low when you have stuff going on like this and, it's just kind of bouncing around, what I would recommend is that you go to log scale, and then that will show you where the exact all-time low was. It was right here, okay? So that's our X point. That is our swing low. We're looking for a buy pattern. Market goes X to A, right? Then it goes A to B, B to C, C to D, right? Now, you can see I said zone. Optimally, we want all the ratios to come in at the 786 retracement. We want the extension. We want the projection and everything. It didn't, right? So now we actually have about a $20, $25 range. It's pretty big, especially if you're looking at stop placement and trying to manage risk. So what I'll do in this case is I'll usually just totally respect the ABCD and wait for the ratio below to get hit. And then you can see below a certain level, it's not that I'm wrong, it's the pattern's wrong, right? So if I find a pattern and I trade the pattern and it fails, I executed my game plan, right? Every market moment's unique. Mark Douglas, right? Trading in the zone. So I always want to know where I'm wrong, and using the patterns, I can precisely do that. So take a look at mRNA, folks. We've got a perfect, what's called Gartley 222 on mRNA. And at the same time, Pfizer's way up here, and it just finished another pattern. And so I'm like, could Pfizer go down and mRNA go up? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's for a lot more smarter people than me to figure out. So that's the Gartley 222. Now, let's have some fun here. We're going to go over some recent setups. This picture has so much going on that you can't even imagine. And it goes back to our quote, but ultimately, this is all the cycles and frequencies and everything that's going on. And yes, Da Vinci, when he painted it, he basically was putting the same thing out there. So for those with eyes to see, the patterns are everywhere. So we took a look at Tesla. Okay, what you'll find here, okay, is on the left, that's going to be the setup, and on the right was the result. Okay, and as we look, remember the first thing we did for Tesla, where's the biggest correction? There it was, right? Take a look at the scaling on the right, normal scaling. It's not a percentage, it's a price move. So copy paste, there's the largest corrective move right here. Copy paste, put it down. Now, look at the Gartley 222, right? Here's our X point. Our X point could be here, could be really anywhere. In fact, I'll use all three of those when I retrace. But basically, we had X to A to B, B to C, C to D. The problem with this one was I didn't get filled. Happens all the time, right? Oh, well, the market doesn't have to come down to these levels, right? It'll do whatever it wants to do. And if you can see, we didn't get filled. I had my entry order down here a little bit lower. So this pattern level never got touched, which means it's still alive. So if we get a little bit of a rally and Tesla comes back down, I'm going to be looking to nibble in there again too. But you can see here's real-time action, measured moves, Gartley pattern, big support area for Tesla. Sorry, I got to do this quick here. Disney. So Disney is a really interesting one to highlight too. So again, boom, measured move, copy paste, measured move. A, B, C, D. The interesting aspect of it is the A, B, C, D was 1.618 times AB. Here's the measured move. Here's the gap. It exactly hit it and off it went. The other thing too is you can see here, I'm labeling this a 3 up here. So this could be 4 and Disney's up to new highs. Either way, that's our level for Disney and we know it. But you can see measured moves with the pattern, high probability opportunities that really are nice. Netflix. Netflix is a pattern that we'll introduce you to. But I had posted this, first off, a nice L8 wave count. But the more important thing was we had an AB equals CD, and we had the extension. And so our target zone was a little bit lower than where the high ended up coming out, but it sure looked like it was right for a sell-off. Did I know or think or have any clue that the sell-off would be this big? Absolutely not. But I did know we were finishing 5 waves, and the wave count didn't break any rules. So for whatever reason, it was time for Amazon to definitely sell off, and she did, right? So that was a Netflix sell-off, and she did. So now we're going to get into some really fun stuff too. The aspect of it is, I love this chart, right? Again, nothing new under the sun. But the bottom line is, from your pupil, the Earth to Moon distance is equal to the eye to your outstretched index finger. All the numbers, all the patterns have always been done before. So we're gonna talk about some things we really need to pay attention to. The first thing is BlackRock. I'm not a fundamentalist, and Goose gave me a hard time, rightly so, about that. But I am a follower of Martin Armstrong. In fact, he's the only one that I follow. And he kind of gave me a tip about, hey, BlackRock might have some issues. So I called up the chart and a pretty easy 5 wave count. You can see here, basic what we call AB equals CD, which is another one of the patterns that we'll teach you in training, right? And then we'll also teach in training that the impulse move off of a low, especially on a long-term chart, is very powerful. And so you want to do projections, because that's basically, right, the patterns work because the rock hits the water. Depending on how high and how heavy the water is, it's going to create waves, right? And so those waves will emanate out as soon as the IPO occurs. The rock hitting the water is the initial impulse move off of a low on the long-term chart. So we have a perfect 3.618 projection too. Really got to keep our eye on BlackRock. Why? They're managing a $10 trillion portfolio by themselves. So if they're in trouble, it could cascade into a complete sovereign debt crisis. It's that big of a deal. So keep an eye on BlackRock, please, and let's see what we can glean out of that over the next couple days or weeks. Excuse me. Okay, this next one, Wiz and I are talking about. This one's going to blow everybody away. Don't shoot me or hit me. I'm just calling it like I see it, okay? It's the Dow Jones Transports. And believe it or not, yeah, it could be beyond the bizarre. So what are we looking at? A couple things. First off, let's take a look down here at our bottom right chart, okay? That's a long-term, okay, Dow Jones chart. It's a monthly chart. And you can tell, I'm not sure if you can see, it's probably small, but you can always look up here. You'll see an M, a W, a D. That's monthly, weekly, daily. And if you see a 60, it's a 60-minute chart. But I want to call your attention to this 4 that's labeled 1970. So about, I don't know, probably 6 to 9 months ago, I did get the Elliott Wave Global Market Watch, and it was once a month. It was pretty in depth, about 100 pages, but it was charts, and it just walked through the entire global macro picture. European bonds, Australian interest rates, right? Everything, right? And so I could get a quick look at the circle of life, which we call fixed income, currencies, commodities, and equities. Not just the United States, but global. It's always flow of funds, right? So the money's got to move to one of those 4 areas, right? So I got this Global Market Watch, and they did a special on the Dow Jones Transportation Average. And I was like, that's interesting. And what they've done is they put a composite of prices together for major transportation going back to 1600. They went back to the Brits, into London, and everything. So we will teach Elliott Wave Theory in some of the training. I tell people I love Elliott Wave Theory when it works. It's not my sole way, but it does help, right? And the bottom line is the market moves up 1 wave, down 2 waves, up 3 waves, down 4 waves, up 5 waves. At the end of 5 waves, there's an ABC big correction. We're seeing it all over. Look at mRNA, right? So when I want to call your attention to that 4 down there, the reason I'm telling you that is a 4 from a market move that has started from 1600. So from 1970, you can see our purple count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't break any rules. It's a valid count, right? And so if that 4 is the one from 1600 and we've finished 5 waves up, that big 5 is a 5 from here. A guideline of Elliott Wave, a guideline is when we have a lesser degree 4, the bigger degree, this blue, likes to correct into the vicinity of that. What's that? That's an 80% drop in transports. Yeah, you heard it here. Big deal. We are in a 5th wave. I feel very, very strongly about that. And what I'm about to show you here is we might have topped in the transports, which could have massive ramifications. And then as Wiz said, Dow theory, transports are always the first one to go. So what happened was, if you can see, this was my original projection level. My original projection level was here. Quite frankly, I made a mistake. I started it from here, right? And we just got to there. But the all-time low on the Dow Jones Transports was July 5th, 1932, $13.43. If that is our A, that's our B, that's our C, and that's our D, we project out, it was the exact high on transports. That's a big deal. And as you can see here, this is the monthly chart again, 50 years. The ABCD, that's almost 100 years old. We are at a very, very key point in transports for the globe. And again, remember, Ripley's Believe It or Not. Don't shoot the messenger, please. The last thing I want to show you is, again, with the transports is, take a look here. We've got the log scale. See how it's not equal going up? And why I want to show you that is on a long-term monthly chart, the trend lines you can build with log scale are just awesome, right? So the bottom line is we might have popped a super cycle degree from a trend that started 400 years ago. So I was telling Wiz yesterday as he was murderboarding me, he was actually kind of nice on me. I thought he was going to be more of a jerk. People keep asking Wiz, when's the market going to bottom? All I got to say is when you have a multiple degrees of trend from a trend that started in 1600, it might not bottom as quick as we think it will. So all I could say is hold on and get out Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, literally. And that's a inside joke for Mr. Toad, for those who know. Last one, I've mentioned it. The bank fleet is up, the bank fleet is down. All we're doing here is measured moves and projections, right? And as you look here, here's the measured move, here's the measured move. So why wouldn't it happen again? And we are right there. Okay, we are right there. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For those purists of Elliott Wave, we go just a little bit below the end of wave 1, but not below the open and close. I ain't that much of a purist. I'm going to call this 4. We've got 5 waves coming off the low in 2009. We've got these amazing projections and measured moves. Guys, banks are close, if not there, from the perspective of big deal, right? Banks start selling off, then this whole thing's cooked, and we need to pound them with puts. So those are the things from a really big picture that I'm looking at. BlackRock, the transports are huge, and then this banking index. Again, this isn't an hourly chart. This is monthly, right? This goes back 30 years or so. So these moves are the moves that occur in the banking index. We're about 3 or 4% away. So hang on for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, because it's definitely going to be interesting. So I just want to reiterate, I apologize for the computer issues. I cannot believe that my computer crashed. I literally just bought it this week. So thank you for that. And I apologize for the technical difficulties from the perspective of the presentation. It won't happen again. And then why would we put this slide up here? And I'll hand the phone off to Goose, or excuse me, off to Wiz. But Wiz, Goose, and I, we want to help you manage risk. And so what you can think of us, and we all know this for those vets out there, we're the satellite, right? We're the AWACS. And we just want to help you get situational awareness of how to deal with what's coming. I promise you, and I can't emphasize this enough, Goose, Wiz, and I, Wiz is like the options guru. Goose is the volatility expert. Me, I find charts, I find patterns. We feel like the three of us can really not only help us manage risk in this coming environment, but hopefully make money and make a lot of money. And we can't guarantee that, but we're going to do our best to provide ethical, honest, just, hey, here's how we see it. And between the three of us working together, I think there's going to be some pretty powerful setups for us to manage risk and make money. So thank you so much. Wiz, thank you. Goose, thank you. Sledge, thanks for murderboarding. And that's about it. Wiz?
Yeah, man. All right, I'll take it from here, guys. Kathy, I'm going to answer your question. Kathy's like, hey, how do we get more information or sign up? That's going to be my job right now. So, all right, folks. And again, we murderboarded this, all sorts of stuff, and then technology is technology. So apologize for the smaller screen and the dial in on the phone. We're going to fix that for next time. But here we go. TOMCAT charts, man. It's our newest live trading service here at TOMCAT Options. Goose, while I'm doing all this stuff, you can go look through the chat box here and figure out all the questions that you want to answer. And Jack, trivia question. What is murderboarding? Well, we shouldn't call it murderboarding because it's not politically or corporate friendly, right? So we do what's called red teaming. Before we go on a military mission, we do what? We have squadron mates who weren't involved in our planning process, but who kind of know what the hell's going on, come in and rip our plan apart. They destroy it. Why? Because we don't want to have the enemy go out and rip it and destroy it. So at Top Gun, it's actually called a murder board. You stand up, you give your brief, and you get destroyed on everything from, hey, you scratch your nose at this point to, you dress funny. I mean, it's brutal, and you're not allowed to answer anything until they all leave the room, and then you make your presentation better. So murder boarding, red team, Bart did a couple times this week. All right, here's what we're going to do. Newest service here at Top Gun Options for only $147 a month. You're going to get access to what we're calling TOMCAT charts. Bart, every Friday, as you guys know, my Fridays are charity, No Fallen Heroes. Actually, my full-time job is turning into No Fallen Heroes, but it was just Friday. So I never did any trade briefs on Friday. So here we go. We're going to start doing it on Friday. Bart's going to start doing it this coming Friday at 10 a.m. He's going to have text and email alerts just like I do over on the Full Throttle side of the fence. And you get access, obviously, to our 3 skill-based manuals. Bart right now is coming up with his own manual. We're going to have a manual for all of this stuff, and Bart is working on that. And obviously, you'll get access to our trade plan and options checklist. So that is only $147 a month. It's a little bit more than Solo Amazon, which is $97 a month, because we trade Amazon and that's it. Bart's going to be trading a ton of shit. And it's less than our Full Throttle. So it's right in between Full Throttle monthly and Solo Amazon monthly. That is a perfect price. $147 for TOMCAT charts. Now, if you want to select Zone 5, what is Zone 5? These TOMCAT guys, man, when they go select Zone 5 on their throttle, that is the max afterburner, full throttle, you name it. I'll show you a picture of what Zone 5 looks like. It is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, when a TOMCAT is in full grunt, it's life-changing, man. It'll change your heartbeat. Was it 54,000 pounds of thrust and heat and anger and justice, man? So Zone 5 is going to be a little bit more of a elite service. Zone 5, you're going to get obviously everything in the monthly TOMCAT charts, but you're going to get 8 live training sessions with Bart, just like I do 8 live training sessions for Full Throttle. This is a call. This is a put. Bart's going to do this is a fucking dojo. This is a quad 2. I'm even getting the name wrong. I'm going to attend this brief, his 8 sessions. Let me show you what they're going to be, because I'm going to answer about 7 of the questions that I saw throughout this brief. You ready? So Zone 5, not only do you get the monthly TOMCAT training, you are going to get access to 8 live training sessions. Man, I'm just going to click through these real quick. Session 1, charting 101. I'm not even going to read this all, dude, because it is there's session 2, session 3. I'm going to just put them all on the screen. How about that? There's your 8 sessions. So, folks, Bart and I are really shitty businessmen, and here's what I mean by that. We don't want you in TOMCAT charts forever. Wait, what? That's a shitty business model. Bart and I are both instructor pilots, man. We're both graduates of the Navy Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun. What do? You don't go to Top Gun for your career, folks. You go to the mountain, you get your flowing robes of knowledge, and then you leave. You go back to the fleet and train others. So you're going to be able to do all this shit on your own. So everybody's like, hey, yes, the answer is yes. Look at all this stuff on the screen. You're going to get 8 live training sessions once a quarter with Bart. Just like I do Full Throttle, you're going to get Bart for 8 sessions. I am going to be at these things because I need to figure out what the hell's going on. So that's the 8 sessions you're going to get with the Zone 5. It's right there in the middle right there. Here's what you're also going to get with Zone 5. 200 charts. You're going to get access. He's going to have a master database of 200 charts of the most popular names that he's going to update continuously. I think, well, when you log in underneath member content here for all the current members, when you go underneath member content, there's going to be TOMCAT charts right here, the 147 a month. There's going to be the Zone 5 master charts, and then obviously the training. But the Zone 5 master charts, Bart is still working on uploading. This is obviously a placeholder. There ain't no content right there because the first brief is next Friday. Maybe I'll put the replay on here. But you're going to have a massive database on here of 200 charts that he's going to update. So that's a lot. And that's a lot. So this is kind of a steal, folks, for $297 a month. Okay? And obviously, we're going to give you an annual thing. You ready for this? If you add both those things together, it's $3,500 a year, $3,600 a year. If you stay in these things monthly, don't do that. Sign up today for an annual, and we'll give you essentially a 50% discount. If you don't recognize that getting something 50% off is a good trade, don't sign up for the service. because you're an awful trader. And I'm not being facetious. I'm telling you the truth. As a businessman, I'd love for you to be in this thing for 12 months because it's more money than you doing the annual. As a dude, and Bart and I as cool guys, do the annual, guys, and save some money. That is what we strongly recommend you do. Kevin, I did carrier tech support. I've watched flight ops from a catwalk on the 10 level. Awesome stuff, being forward and feeling the exhaust from Cat 3 and 4 takeoffs. It was incredible. You got it. So there you go, guys. I'm going to have Bart come back on and start answering some questions. He kind of looked through here, and he's going to answer your questions. But I'm the marketing guy. Chris nailed it. You ready for this, guys? Lifetime membership, best decision ever. Because, folks, if you are not talking to Goose right now, our new director of business development, adding TOMCAT charts is going to make the lifetime membership go up in price. I told you this was going to happen. I don't lie. So the lifetime membership is going up in price. I don't want to confuse people right now, but Kid's right. You got to grab a lifetime, man, because as we add more and more products here, this lifetime membership is going to increase in cost. And if you already have yours, you're getting a shitload of value. Kathy, lifetime is the best. Goose. Hold on. Let me. Is it okay? Yeah, well, Goose. Yeah, if you go into the TOMCAT charts and the Zone 5 annual, we could credit that towards your. It's prorated towards your lifetime. Let's not confuse people though. Go.topgunoptions.com/Bart. That's the URL for you to grab your slot. It is in the chat box right now. Real quick though, because some people are like, hey, is this recorded? I got in here late. Here's the replay page. When we get done, when Bart and I get done here, it takes, I don't know, about half an hour to render the recording. I will post this replay on the page. This one's pretty easy to remember. Go.topgunoptions.com/Tomcat-replay. The video on here right now is a placeholder. It's an old video. Don't go there right now because you're in the brief. That makes no sense. That's stupid. Jim, TOMCAT is included in lifetime. You got it. Everything's included in lifetime, baby. That's why you want to be in lifetime. Yeah, if you're interested, like I said, it's going up, obviously. Goose at topgunoptions.com. If you're interested in working a drug deal with Goose to get into the lifetime, the link's in the chat box. Kathy, what a gift to be in lifetime. You know what? Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at in the chat box because men lie, numbers don't. So I want to show you what's going on in the chat box since you guys can't see it. There you go. Lifetime membership, best decision ever. Lifetime is best. Hard to imagine TGO getting better. Thank you, David. TOMCAT is included in lifetime. What a gift. I'm gonna capture a screenshot of all of those comments. Thank you. All right. Hey, Bart, why don't you jump back on? Do you want the controls to drive, or do you just want to answer some questions?
I'll answer some questions, Wiz. I can't see the chat box.
Okay. Let me read some of these.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hang on. Mark, I'm very pumped to get started in TOMCAT. This just keeps getting better and better. Amazing value. Mark is a brand new lifetime member from a couple days
Mark.
today. Christine, love this shit. My technical trading passion has just been answered. Lifetime member is the added bonus. Kathy's asking, hey, Bart, what was the name of the little book that he started with in the presentation?
Absolutely. So it's called The Little Book of Coincidence. It's actually a series of like little books of, but The Little Book of Coincidence, it's awesome. It's such a great book. When we get into training, I think it's session 3, when we get into the ratios and everything like that. What'll just blow you away, it goes back to that Ecclesiastics quote is, there's nothing new under the sun. And so you'll find that these ratios that we're using in the market are all over The Little Book of Coincidence. And it's really cool. So, yeah. And then if anyone's really interested, and I was talking to Wiz and Ponch, Sledge, Goose, if you think you're interested in going down this path of looking at the market from this perspective, there's one book I would recommend. And Wiz, you can put it in the chat, or maybe I can, but it's Michael Schneider. You can look him up. I think it's SCHNEIDER. And it's called A Beginner's Guide to Inventing the Universe, and A Beginner's Guide to Constructing the Universe, the mathematical archetypes of nature, art, and science. Avoid
Bart, I think I lost. Yeah, I think you might have lost comms, man. Anyway, because Bart was dialing in on his cell phone because the computer crashed. Bob, absolutely. Yeah, so Bob's being honest right there. And wish I got into life. Oh, there you are. Welcome back.
Yeah, unbelievable. I just got kicked off again. This is insane. But anyway, Michael Schneider, A Beginner's Guide to Constructing the Universe. If you get that book and you love it, you can't put it down, this type of methodology is for you. If you get it and it's just dissonance, and it's like, okay, this is not resonating with me, just I'll stop and save yourself some time. But yeah, Little Book of Coincidence and Michael Schneider, A Beginner's Guide to Constructing the Universe. Sorry about that, Wiz.
No worries. Okay, let me scroll up and look at a couple more of these questions. All comments. Where do we? Yeah, hold on. There's some good questions up this way. Deb, for the transports, as an example, if it took 50 years to hit this level, what's to say it won't take another 50 years to correct? Clearly, we don't all have that much time in our lives to wait.
No doubt. No doubt.
Rick, knowing the time a move will take is very important to knowing what expiration will be needed. Rick, you got it. So Goose and I are going to be helping Bart get up to speed with options because we'll be able to show you what a good when Bart maps out these entry and exit points, we're going to jump in and be like, hey, man, if you like what he's saying, here's the options trade to do it. Here's the tactic to do it. Barry, are the Gartley patterns related to bull and bear flags?
They could be, but not necessarily. I like saying that, by the way. I don't know why I've always said that necessarily instead of necessarily. I look at them in isolation from other patterns, and that's a really good question, right? Because bull flags, pennants, those are patterns, head and shoulders, right? So what I like to call it, just so I don't confuse people, is advanced pattern recognition. And what I mean by that is it's Gartley's, where you're putting all these ratios and everything together. So I've never seen them in context with that, but that doesn't mean that they can't be, right? So that's a really good question. But these aren't the traditional, quote unquote patterns that you're going to find in other classic technical analysis textbook. Those are still extremely valid for sure. These are patterns that we put together based on the ratios of music and sacred geometry and everything like that. So it's just a little bit different. I've never really come up with a good name for it. So if anybody can, I'd be all ears. But that's they're not the traditional patterns.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Rick is asking, hope you will describe how to create these charts on our own.
Absolutely. That's as Wiz was saying, that's the plan.
That's the point of the training, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Name of the book, you answered that one. Mike, every moment is a spiritual discussion. You got it, Mike. That is exactly right. Coleman is
very nice.
Coleman is a lifetime member and lives here in Boca Raton. He also flew A7s with John McCain. So he was giving you shit. He said A7 drivers hit our targets within plus or minus 5 seconds. Coleman, you're 4 seconds too late compared to a Hornet guy.
Valid.
Yeah, exactly. Completely valid. What did they say about A7s? Constant noise, variable thrust, or something like that. I'll show you the course again. Hang on a second. Let me show you the 8 sessions you're going to get. Jack's asking, what platform does Bart use for charting?
Yep. So it's eSignal, and it's the basic. I get end of day data because most brokers, I'm with Interactive Brokers, they have real time charts and everything. But it costs me about $50 a month. I don't get the advanced get or any of the add-ons. It's just I get all the global indices, currencies, fixed income, commodities, delayed 15-minute data, and it costs me like $50. And honestly, hopefully Wiz or Goose has said this. If I use my charting platform, I'm just too lazy to do it. I use the bare minimums, right? I use lines and retracements and we'll also show some arcs. So, but it's eSignal.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Berry would think flags are much shorter time periods than these Gartley patterns.
That's a great question. So one of the things that if I miss this, I'm remiss, and I apologize. The Gartley pattern can exist on a 5-minute chart too, right? Remember the copper measured moves? It's all fractals, right? The reason I look at the dailies, weeklies, and monthlies as they're bigger moves, right? A 60-minute Gartley pattern is going to get, let's say it's a 60-minute Gartley cell pattern. It's going to get run over, right, by a weekly, let's say, cell pattern, right? So these Gartleys, you can, if you're a day trading scalper, you can all day long go in on a minute, right? Minute chart and look for Gartley patterns, 3 drives to a top, any number of patterns that we'll teach and talk to. But I like the dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. And then if you are going to use lower time frames, a 5-minute chart, if you're scalping day trading, or an hourly or something like that, you'll want to be aware of where these daily, weeklies, and monthlies come in also, right? So you don't want to, short when you're staring at a train that's just going to keep rolling. So, but the patterns exist on every time frame. I'm just looking for major, bigger swings. And so that's why I showed a weekly Gartley from mRNA. But a 5-minute chart can show a Gartley in about 20 minutes, and you can just trade it and scalp in and out of that all day long.
That's awesome.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Can any other charting tools allow you to chart Gartley patterns?
Absolutely. There's actually, I want to call it Ensign charting package, has a really nice filter for you to find them. And they actually have a couple tools on their charting package where you can basically tell the computer to draw the pattern for you. Pretty much any charting service will have the tools for you to go ahead and find the patterns that exist. WD Gann, he did all his charts by hand, right? There were no spreadsheets or anything like that. So again, let's go back to the lazy comment. I just like to hand draw things, right? So, and it helps me. It helps me view things. So, but you can automate a lot of this for sure. For me, I'm just kind of like a knuckle dragger from that perspective.
You mean like ensign, like Navy ensign, or how do you spell that?
Oh, I'm sorry, like ensign to ensign. Ensign, ENSIGN. You can look up ensign charting. And Larry actually developed the software. Larry Pesavento developed the software that can find them. So you can find them from that perspective. Okay. I just like to do it. Your eye trains to see these things. It's quite crazy, but it's not. For those who know. So your eye is actually much better than a computer. So if a computer would tell me that there's a pattern, I would go and validate it, trust but verify, right?
Sure.
You can definitely automate some of this stuff, and it'll work.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is great, Liz. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, very good questions. Mark, looking forward to learning from Bart. Lifetime is the best. Thank you. Guys, I didn't want to turn this into a Lifetime presentation, but it's funny because Lifetime members are right. Mitch, fantastic presentation. Can't wait to get started. I am so glad I joined Lifetime last year. Folks, Lifetime, like 2 years ago, was 10 grand. It's up to 15, 20, something, whatever Bart works a drug deal with, folks. And it's going higher because we're adding this and we're probably adding more services. The Lifetime, folks, is insane, insanely valued. It's actually undervalued compared to some other folks out there. So if you're interested in that, get with Goose and he can set you up. Goose at Top Gun Options. All right, a couple more questions. I'll brief you. John, are you sure I don't need to pay more for my file time? So John joined when it was 12K. Save that one. So let me show you that. Again, I didn't want to turn this into a Lifetime brief, but I'm just showing. These are Lifetime members coming out of the woodwork going, "Hey man, this is. Are you sure I don't need to pay more?" I'd love for you to pay more of your Lifetime. I wish that long ago I had priced it higher, but no, man. All right, here we go. Final couple questions. I didn't ignore your questions. I'll do them right now, which is this. This is $147 a month. The TOMCAT charts monthly. You're going to get into a live trade brief every Friday at 10 a.m. With Bart. He's going to send out a text and email alert if there is a trade for that day. Just depends on what's going on in the market. If he's got a setup working or one of his most target-rich setups he'll send out there, you get your 3 skill-based manuals. You'll also, down the road, when Bart gets his manual Airborne, you're going to get that for free. Or it's included. How about that? And then obviously trade plan OPCL. You really want to do this, folks. The Zone 5, the master chart database. He's going to have on the Zone 5 member page, man, 200 of these charts. He's going to break them out by sector, right? So you're not looking at 200 charts, man. That's nuts. So it'll be,
Yeah.
tech or this. Yeah, it's going to be tech or consumer cyclicals or energy. So he's going to have them in like these folders so you can click on, oh, there's Tesla, Amazon, Netflix, and, some tech names or something like that. This is where you really, really, really want to be. Give this a try for a month or two, the 297. And then, obviously this is the best deal. 50% discount is pretty insane to do right now. Jeff, what length of trades for Bart? Day, weekly, swings, monthly?
Yeah, good question. I'm more of a longer-term positional trader, so I'm looking at dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. I'll go intraday sometimes, just because it's kind of, again, Wiz and I, it really is, and I'm glad you said that we are soulmates. It's pretty amazing, but I'm still amazed when it works, right? And the day that I'm not amazed that it works is the day that I need to walk away, right? And so sometimes I'll go down to like a minute chart. So we'll come up with a level on a monthly that's taken 80 years, right, to form. And to go down on a minute chart, and you've just got to think about what's happening, right? All the world is, let's say, by the way, we got a sell pattern on Coke. All the world is buying Coke, buying Coke, buying Coke. And then it gets up to this pattern level, and all of a sudden, all the buying stops and the selling begins. I still think it's crazy, right? So I had to deep dive into the why for me, right? Because it is crazy. It's crazy. I sent out a chart to the Max Afterburner group about the volume in the currency markets, right? And that's one of the things we're trying to do, Goose and Wiz and I, is we're all focused on Amazon, and Amazon's really important in the market in our mind is U.S. equities. What we're going to do is also expand your mind to understand why the European banks are so crucial right now. Understand why the Canadian banks, how, if that truly was or is a run on them, will have massive implications on the global markets because all the banks are interconnected, right? So then we look at currency flows. So you got to put this whole picture together. So, you're sitting there, the currency markets, it's like 10 times. I think all the world's, equity markets, fixed income markets, commodity markets would have to operate continuously for 90 days to equal just 1 day of liquidity on the foreign exchange. So there you are, let's say trading the euro versus the pound, and you've come up with a pattern level sitting here in your bunny slippers, and the market goes down and it hits the level and it pivots. What? It's still, so I had a tough time with that when I was first learning this stuff. So that's what made me deep dive into the why. And that just exploded from an opening and an understanding of what's going on. And go back to that first quote, right? You'll be getting a lot of that from me. Go back to the Last Supper picture, right? Look at your eye to the hand. It's exactly equal to the moon distance.
Yep.
This stuff is everywhere. It's everywhere.
So so who said that? Dean, I've been downloading his charts and putting them in folders from Max Afterburner. Going to be nice to have it done for me. So there you go, Dean. That's exactly right. Dean's in Lifetime, but folks who aren't in Lifetime can get that done for them by doing the Zone 5 master chart database. But Bart just posted this over in the Max Afterburner group the other day. This thing, man. So kind of mapping it out where we are. It's got a mission brief here, and this is on gold, man. You know what? I actually go over here on your little control panel and look at the handouts. I put this in here as a handout, man. So you got in here for a free brief, and you're actually getting a pretty solid takeaway right now. This is a setup that Bart already mapped out for you. This look at that. I love. There you go. Note the gap through 0.786. Shit happens around these levels. There you go. Spoken like a true TOMCAT pilot. So Bart doesn't know I did this, but I uploaded this for you guys for free, man. He posted this.
I'm glad.
in the Max Afterburner brief. So
Thanks
yeah,
for doing that, Wiz.
this is awesome. Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
real quick, just so people know, Wiz, because they're probably going to download it.
Mhm.
This is what I was talking about, I think, with Amazon, right? So we have a very powerful, and when I say powerful, it just means there's a lot of numbers coming together, right? It doesn't mean it's going to work or not. That's not the point. It's a lot of numbers are together, big deal, right? And so when you look at that gold/GLD chart, we have a very significant, what I mean by that, a lot of numbers are coming together, sell pattern on gold. In fact, it's a Gartley 222 sell. So I don't know where we are. I have more of a bearish mindset for gold, but I certainly feel like I'm being proven wrong. So we'll know where we are with gold because we want gold to go up to that pattern and fail. If it fails, I'm going to look for the best opportunity to get long. If it works, then we can have a pretty big long sell-off, right? So when you start looking at that GLD, that's the level that, again, sorry, but shit happens, right? So you can develop your game plan around there. You can do a straddle, right? I think that's what you call it, Wiz. I'm still learning, but those are the levels that are key, and that's what I wanted to understand about gold because it was asked about GLD. So I don't know, but I can tell you that a D, if you want to go back down to maybe the last slide there, Wiz, right here. There's our X to A to B, B to C, C to D, and there's the shell. Maybe that's what we should start calling it, shell for short zone, for short and sell. So until we bang in around there, we're in no man's land as far as I'm concerned with gold. But you can see, look at all the numbers coming together, right? So that's what we're trying to show. The other thing is the little orange is a little smaller Gartley 222, and that's where it stopped yesterday. I haven't had a chance to update it yet, but so the market's going crazy. Gold's at new time highs, and I'm like, okay, well, all I know is, shoot, there's a massive sell pattern. And then if you go up one more, Wiz, I know we're past time, but this is great. We're all junkies here. I go to slide 6. This is actually spot gold. So you know the exact price of spot gold. Slide 6, I think it is. If you want to show them, just so they can understand. I don't want to blow anybody away.
Yep.
Yeah, there. So there's spot gold. That's the actual spot price of gold, and you can see there's the Gartley 222. We've got two AB equals CDs, the orange and the blue, and so man, I mean we're getting right up there to where I think we'll have a good clue of whether gold's really going to run or it's going to sell off for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Awesome,
Liz.
man.
Great stuff.
Yeah, no. This is great, folks. Just absolutely. This is why I told you I'm excited to have Bart on board and getting us airborne with this. Again, TOMCAT charts, just the live trade brief and the standard stuff like we do here at TGO is right there. You want the Zone 5, man. It's only $297 a month, and then hell, just get a 50% discount by doing that. For all the folks asking about the lifetime membership, today's supposed to be my charity day, No Fallen Heroes Day, so I'm going to go do all that type of stuff. Bart's on call. I'm sorry, Goose is on call. Shoot him an email, Goose at TOMCAT Options, and you guys can set up a time to chat about the lifetime because the lifetime is going up. If you've been on the fence about lifetime in the past, you got to do it now before it gets up. And finally, I don't want to leave without this because people kept asking me in the background, so I will, give you this link. Next Wednesday at noon, I'm going to give you a brief on the No Fallen Heroes, where we are in the project of our documentary, and the No Fallen Heroes Extraction TV series that we're going to produce, and giving you an opportunity if you want to pitch into the fight to help save veterans' lives. We're going to let you do that as well. We're going to open up the doors to potentially some more angels because Wall Street ain't moving as fast as we need to be. It's been an hour and a half. 2 veterans potentially have killed themselves in the time that we've been talking about charts, which is great, but it's not great. And Bart and I, during our free time, are going to work on saving veterans' lives. So, Bart, go ahead and wrap up, and then I'll close this out, man.
Absolutely. So, everyone, thank you so much. It's my pleasure, my real pleasure and honor. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to brief you guys and what is my passion. I love this stuff, and I am just simply here to help everybody manage risk and what's coming because it's going to be ugly, and not only manage risk, but potentially be profitable investors. So, Wiz, thanks. This is great. And I think everybody will get something out of it. So thank you. Oh, by the way, if you want to hit me on email, it's bart@topgunoptions.com. And shoot me an email if you have any questions or anything. Thanks, Wiz. Have
Awesome,
a great
brother.
weekend, everybody.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Salute.
Bart's probably going to go surfing for the rest of the day, but we're going to adjourn here. Yep, appreciate all the great comments, folks. Bart, I told you, man, he's a 500-pound head. All the Lifetime people, you get access to this, man. It's included. So welcome aboard. If you're not in Lifetime, here are your prices. And to be honest with you, Full Throttle when I started in like 2009 was like $495 a year. Now it's $3,000. I'm telling you right now, and we still have people that are paying $495. I don't raise prices on people that are current members. These charts on your screen, let's go, Brandon, might be more next year. That might be $247 next year, $347, and like $3,000. So I would lock this stuff in. I give you my word, never in my lifetime will I raise prices on something that you're already in. That's a jerk move, and that's not what we're going to do here at Top Gun Options. Give me about 30 minutes to eat the rest of my fruit here because I am healthy now and my mind is right. And then I got I got to go do my podcast at noon. So I'll get the replay posted on the replay page shortly. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, man. Somebody just asked where do you think the market's going, Wiz? Down. And we're printing money as it's going down. This month to date, we're up $32,000 on a $100,000 model portfolio. Wiz, I don't have 100 grand. I have 50. Well, you would have been up what? 16 grand month to date. We only have half that. You would have been up 8 grand. We're printing money here, guys, at Top Gun Options. I could not be more honored and humbled to have Bart on board as one of our instructors. Okay, so have a great rest of your day. Make sure you hedge. I'm not joking about that. God bless. Namaste. And fights on. I'll see you guys next Friday in Bart's 10 a.m. brief. God bless and fights on. I'll see you later.